I am glad to announce the signing of today's historic economic partnership agreement between the United States and Ukraine.
You don't have the cards. You're buried there. Your people are dying.
It was a jaw-dropping showdown in the Oval Office. Old alliances crumbling as the world watched on. And yet last weekend, Trump and Zelensky communed again, seated a foot apart at the funeral of Pope Francis, closing the gap, literally and politically, at last. The result, after months of negotiation and a last-minute snag, the signing of a deal. The US securing preferential access to Ukraine's minerals.
A deal months in the making. Billions of dollars in minerals. A peace process hanging by a thread. And a shouting match in the White House that almost derailed everything. This is the US-Ukraine agreement you weren't supposed to ignore. Ukraine's economy minister Yulia Sviridenko just landed in Washington to sign what officials are calling a long-awaited and game-changing deal with the U.S. Treasury. The agreement? A joint venture tapping into Ukraine's untouched treasure chest of natural resources, oil, gas, and the juicy part, critical minerals, graphite, titanium, lithium, the essential ingredients of the future. From your smartphone to your electric car, to weapons and wind turbines. In Ukraine, it's sitting on millions of tons of this stuff. But here's the twist. It's not just about rocks in the ground. This is about geopolitics, economics, and, let's be honest, revenge. President Trump, never one to pass on a dramatic entrance, called the agreement payback for the $350 billion he says the U.S. spent on Ukraine. Although BBC Verify says that number's a little bloated. We get much more in theory than $350 billion, Trump claimed. In theory, sure. But in practice? These minerals aren't just lying around waiting to be picked up. A quarter of Ukraine's land is riddled with landmines. Some of the richest resource zones still under Russian occupation. About $350 billion worth, according to Ukrainian officials. So, who's really cashing in here? Russia, for its part, shrugged off the deal. Putin even offered U.S. companies a chance to mine in the new territories. Yep, that's code for occupied Ukrainian land. Cheeky, huh? But the U.S. deal signals something deeper, a strategic commitment. One official even said it was designed to signal to Russia that Ukraine's sovereignty isn't up for debate. It's not all signed, sealed, and delivered just yet. Ukraine's parliament still has to ratify it. But if it passes, here's what it means. A 50-50 reconstruction fund with no debt to the U.S. Ukraine chooses where and how to extract. The U.S. helps bring in tech and investors. Income from the fund, untaxed, and possibly a side order of military support. Maybe even air defense systems. Before any mineral leaves the ground, before a single dollar returns. There's a minefield to clear, a war to win, and a country to rebuild. And this deal might just be the blueprint. Subscribe for more deep dives into geopolitics, tech, and the stories behind the headlines. See you in the next video.